Welcome back to part 2 of the Goldfield scrap recovery and refining video. This has been on all night. It's 7 o'clock in the morning right now. And so this has been on the heat boiling for over 18 hours. And what I'm going to do is pour this liquid off now. Look at the gold foils down on the bottom, looking good. Oh yeah, there's our beautiful gold foils. That's the material that we're after right there. Let's add a little bit of, let's look down in here and see if we can see this. Get my glove off. Oh yeah, those are looking real good. Real good. Alright, let's pour some distilled water in here now. Let's set this back up on the heat. Rinse down the side of this beaker here. And now we'll pour in some more nitric acid and continue to hit these gold foils with nitric acid. This has been on boiling now for about an hour, and you can see there are gold foils floating in that solution. The key to being successful here is to let these reactions happen in their own time. As soon as we try to force things to happen, we open up the door for problems for ourselves. I'm adding some more nitric acid into about, what have I got there, about 400 milliliters of water. I'm going to put another 200 milliliters of nitric acid in there, and what we'll do is we're going to add this right on in now, and I'm going to let this boil for as long as it takes to get all of the base metals in here dissolved out. Alright, the time right now is about 11:30. So this has been on boiling since like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to pull this down off the heat now. I'm adding some distilled water to dilute the solution and help cool it down a little bit. Okay, here's our foils. Fairly certain that any base metals that we're going to be able to get out of there are gone. So this is looking real good. I'm going to let this cool down, and then we'll collect the solids in a filter. Here's our gold foils. I've turned the pan upside down and set our beaker up on here so we can get a good look. Inside of the beaker, you can see there's some fine sediment that's settled out. There's a layer up there where the solids are starting to settle completely. I'm going to reach in and grab a sample of our solution. So what we're going to do is add some hydrochloric acid. If there's silver in here, we'll get a cloud of silver chloride precipitating out. And you can see by that test that we do have some silver. So what this means is it's going to be best if we rinse all of the liquid off of the foils that we can before we go to aqua regia. Best way to do this is to use a vacuum bottle. So what I'll do is I'll stick this tube down in our solution up here, and we'll start pulling the solution off of the beaker. Here's the solution we pulled off. We're going to set that up here out of the way. And now we'll take a look over here at our gold foils. Looking pretty good here. That's the prize right there. Before I go any further, I've got a magnet here. And what I'm going to do is run it around the bottom of the material. I don't see anything sticking to the magnet at all. There's a little piece. Might be a little piece of spring. What is that? There's something that's stuck to the side of the magnet. See that? This little piece of steel right here, see it? So I'll get that out of there. I'm gonna get set up to do a filtration now to recover our gold foils. Got a specially prepared filter that rides up the inside of the Buckner funnel, and this will enable us to capture 100% of the solids from our beaker. We'll start by filtering our solution here. These two solutions back here are the first nitric boils that we did on our gold filled material. There's going to be some solids in here. There's going to be some silver in both of these solutions, and I'll get that out later on. I'll filter those. It's going to take a long time to pull all that liquid through a filter, so I'll filter that later on and then add the filters to my paper storage and recover the precious metals that they may contain later. This solution will contain nitric acid, and I can use it to dissolve silver later on, so I'm just going to store it in this empty nitric bottle. Here's what's left in a filter. Okay, here we come with the main attraction. This is our gold foils. We're going to get them down into this filter now. Alright, got it all out of there and into our filter. So now it's just a matter of waiting to pull all this liquid off of those foils. Look at these beautiful gold foils. That's amazing. Absolutely beautiful. I've got all the liquid pulled off of here now. What we'll do is transfer this, if I can move my camera, over here into a melt dish. Take this out, put it in the furnace, and incinerate the foils now. Got the furnace set for about 1150 Fahrenheit, 620 Celsius. And what we're doing here is we're just trying to heat this material up. We don't want to melt it. We want to get a nice, fine incineration to burn off any unwanted material from our gold foils. Alright, I cranked the heat a little bit on this. Yeah, we're red hot in there now. I'm fairly certain that this is going to be good to go, man. That's just beautiful. That's exactly what we want to see. Perfect. I'm going to take our foils in now and continue processing. These foils look beautiful. That sure beats trying to incinerate with a propane torch. Alright, I'm anxious to get these things rolling. It's still at 250 Fahrenheit, 122 Celsius. Let's go ahead and see if we can get these up into our beaker here. Oh yeah, them foils look perfect. Absolutely perfect. Look at that, man. Couldn't ask for anything better. Just beautiful. I'm going to begin the refining. I'm going to add some hydrochloric acid. Put it up to about the 300 milliliter. Now let's go 400 with it. I'm adding some sulfuric acid. Precipitate out any lead that may be present. I'm expecting less than an ounce. So now what we'll do, I guess I'm going to try about 30 milliliters of nitric acid. Just dump this right on in. And we're going to cover this up now. I'm going to put it up on our heat up here and just let this react. It's been on the heat for about half an hour. I added a couple extra shots of nitric. I'm adding about 40 milliliters of hydrochloric here to reinvigorate. And now we'll let this go ahead and cook for a little while longer. It's been on the heat now for about an hour. Fume production has ceased. We're going to pull this down off the heat now and let it cool off. I'm adding some ice to help cool this off and to help us precipitate out any silver chloride. This is pulling through fairly quickly, which kind of surprised me. I thought we were going to hit a roadblock here, but it's pulling through that filter. If you look down here in the bottom of the beaker, I've got some solids left in there. Not quite sure what that is. Alright, if you look down here, it looks like we've got some undissolved solids down here, and it might be some pieces of carat gold. Looks like some of it's been passivated with silver chloride, and I think the best thing to do here is collect this in a filter, melt it up into a button, and then enquart it with silver and refine it that way. Okay, this solution pulled through pretty good. Here's what's left in our filter. This is our gold bearing solution. Here's our funnel. It's got a little bit of metal in there. Put that in our paper storage. Here we go. We're going to add some sodium metabisulfite. Precipitate out our pure gold. Forgot to test with stannous. Now let's see if we can get a little on here. We've got these golden solutions still, just a little bit. Should have been much darker than that if I'd have remembered to test it before we added the SMB. Alright, let's see if we got all this gold to drop. Yeah, there's nothing left in there now, so we've got all the gold to precipitate out. Alright, let's get this gold out of this green liquid. There's our gold down on the bottom down there. It's looking pretty good. Alright, here we go. Oh, that looks fantastic. That looks better than I expected. Alrighty, let's get this rinsed out. I'm not going to do a second refining. I normally would, but I stayed up late last night working on this so I could post my video, and I got up early so I could get to it. I'm just flat wore out, so I'm just gonna rinse this off a little bit. We're gonna get this in a melt dish and melt it into a bar so we can get a yield on this. Here's a hydrochloric acid rinse. Turns yellow. And that's the dissolved metals being rinsed out of the gold powder. Alright, we're going to give it a quick boil in hydrochloric acid. This hydrochloric boil seems to have done a world of good here. Pour this off. Oh, the gold looks beautiful now. Got it looking good with just a single refining. Alright, let's see if we can look down in here. That looks superb. This gold came out looking very nice. Let's get it down into a melt dish now. Bang. Here we go. We're going to take it over to the melt table. That looks pretty. And we're going to go ahead and melt this up into a nice bar. There's our little bar. It came out way better than I was expecting. Look at that thing, man. Now let's see what the yield is going to be on this. We were expecting 27.5, something like that. Holy cow. Wait a minute. That's over 10 grams more than I was expecting. I must have had some carrot stuff in there with the gold-filled scrap. Is that right? 38.3. Good Lord. I'll take it. That's way more than I was expecting. The bar came out way better than I was expecting. For a single refining, it just looks beautiful. All right, we'll take it. This will conclude the video, and I'd like to thank everyone for watching.